As soon as up, and we are ready to rock and roll. So,
Fantastic.
hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Megan Smith. I am a civic engagement consultant with the Committee of 70, and I am spending the next 15 or so minutes with Michael Lambert, who is a candidate for municipal judge in Philadelphia. Michael, how are you doing today?
I am super, folks. Nice to see you, Miss Smith. Nice. I can't see everybody else, but I want to say a happy and warm hello to everybody, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So I like to let's just start overall. Like, how are you feeling today? It's Monday, but how are you feeling just like overall? Just feeling good?
I'm very happy and honored to be in the position that I'm in right now. If I was 21, I'd feel a lot better because I'd have more energy. But I'd have hair and my stomach would be flat. But I'm here and I'm truly honored to be here in front of the Committee of 70 and everyone that's here. And I'm just grateful and happy. God has given me an opportunity to be here. And please don't judge my background. Obviously, I'm still very busy running this office. So my mother might be embarrassed, but she taught me well. I just
You'll be okay. I
thank you.
see there's water in the background, so you're staying hydrated. Like, that's what matters.
I'm trying. And if you don't mind, I'll have some right now while we talk.
So tell me, Michael, a little bit about yourself. Tell us and the folks that are tuning in, how did you get to this point where you're now running for municipal judge?
Well, how much time do I have? Because
I mean, we're keeping it to 15, but
okay, so I'll do my 3 or 4 minute spiel
okay.
and tell you. I mean, literally, I was born in Jamaica in
Mhm.
1974. I moved to Philadelphia in 1986. Went to Ada Lewis Middle School. Went to Martin Luther King High School. My mom transferred me to Milton Hershey. Started at Temple in 1992. Went to law school in Temple in 1998 and graduated in 2001. But what makes me unique, folks, is a lot of folks talk about, remember, if you're old enough to remember and live in color, Jamaican having 10 jobs. I'm that guy. I came to America in 86 and I started working for $3 a week, taking out the trash in my building. Then I moved on to, when I moved, I worked at Cal's Barbershop at Seton Avenue, Washington Lane, sweeping up the hair and still going to school, even middle school and part of high school. When I went to Temple, I worked on average 40 to 60 hours a week at night shift as a security guard. And I also would work, take 26 credits a semester on average, and even asked the dean to allow me to work during my first year of law school. The reason why this is important is because I'm from a single family household. It's my mother, my sister, and myself. We did without heat for 1 or 2 winters at least. We had a lot of financial difficulties when we first came here, but we're very happy Philadelphia has welcomed us. But my mother always taught me work hard, but also give back. So, at the end of the day, I'm known as the people's lawyer. It's on my business cards because at the end of the day, my mother says give back. And if you look here, it's a little terrible, but people's lawyer because a lot of people helped us, and we want to do the same. So when I came out, I started working in the public defender's office to help folks because I felt like that was my true calling. After that, I worked for a couple of law firms, tried to put some money in my pocket, but I still had that burning desire to help. So I opened my own office right here on Rising Sun Avenue, near Adams Avenue, close to the Albany section. It's not always the safest neighborhood, but I feel like people can come walking through my door and ask for help. They don't have to have money to get help, and that's what I'm truly proud of in my heart. That's how I feel good. That's what motivates me to continue every day. If I make money on personal injury or other clients that have, a lot of money, I try to give back and help clients that don't have money. And if you go anywhere in this city, that's my name, that's my calling. I want to now transition to the people's judge because I feel like I can do a lot more. I've done a lot for these last 20 years of practice. I've been a trial lawyer, as you can see my desk. I'm always working and always trying to do the best for everybody. But I feel like it's that time where, and especially with all the social issues that have been occurring, I feel like it's time for me to stop sitting in the background or complaining with my colleagues. about how things are happening in the courtroom and decide to actually do it myself by becoming, that's my client, I apologize.
It's fine.
I feel like if I can't complain without making a difference. So if I want the court system to change, if I want people to be treated fairly, then I should put myself on that bench and do what I think judges are supposed to do, which is to be the people's judge. Why are we the people's judge? The people put us there, one, and then two, we are civil. I wouldn't say civil servants, but we work for the government. We work for the people. The people put us there. So we have to be fair. We have to be just. All of those experiences that I've had throughout my life has taught me to be fair and to be just to everybody. So, in municipal court, it's really landlord-tenant matters. That's people. These are people that are getting kicked out of houses. I remember when the landlord used to knock on my door when I was a kid because my mother couldn't pay the rent. So I remember that side, but I also understand tenants that are brutalizing the landlord's property. So you have to be balanced. You have to take an extra 5 or 10 minutes or even more just to understand what the parties are, why the parties are in front of you, what it is that you can do to resolve their issues fairly for both sides. A lot of those folks don't have lawyers. So the judges have to be patient, and that's what I find attractive. That's why I find municipal court attractive for me, because most of the folks I deal with, they come in, they're working. If they're lucky, they have a union job. If not, they're security guards. Like I was an undergrad. They're people that are taking out, doing track. Whatever jobs they have, people are people, and I'm here to help the people. So I'm asking, to become the municipal court judge, so I can be the people's judge over the people's court. And that's the short version.
The short and good version, though. And I wanna continue building on that, because as you said, your message is, I want to be the people's judge. You're the people's champ, and really building and creating a fair and balanced courtroom that works on behalf of the people. So I want to build on that a little bit, and taking, what you've shared so far about your background and your experience. You're also going to have other candidates that say something very similar, like a courtroom that works for the people. What, in addition to what you've already shared, really positions you differently, or what unique skill sets do you feel that you bring to the candidacy that really separates you from everyone else that's running?
Well, the first thing is that I care. I'm not going to say the other candidates do or don't care. I know how I feel. I have to deal with my God when I go to heaven. And, at the end of the day, I care about people. I care about each and every individual that comes through my door. Like, these are people that have emotions and feelings. They have needs and wants. It doesn't matter how tall or how short, the color of their skin, their sexual preference, their religion. These are human beings. Everybody deserves their day in court, and we as judges should do that. And I always travel with that within my heart every single day. Also, I've been practicing law for 20 years. Now, I haven't sat in the 20th or 30th floor of with marble floors and the like, writing opinions and not opinions, doing appeals and, charging my clients $20,000 and $30,000 to litigate their cases. I'm dealing with an average Joe or an average Jane. These are people that literally can barely afford an attorney right out of law school. Some, I wouldn't even say some. A lot of the cases I've done for free. Why have I done it for free? Because I feel like it's my job. And building on having a heart for the people, I think that's one of the skill sets that you need to be a judge. Just to be patient, just to care, just to figure out what it is that's really bothering these folks. And sometimes, having a trial isn't always the best route. Sometimes it's best to try to work out a settlement where the landlord gets what he wants, if I'm in landlord-tenant court for the most part, and the tenant gets what they want. Sometimes, I've seen situations where landlords, they know 90% of the times they're not going to get any money. Mm-hmm. So I asked them, okay, if I'm representing the landlord, what do you want? I want them out. Okay, well, if you want them out, here are a couple of options, and they decide on, whether one, they'll evict or agree to an eviction, without any money or a smaller portion of what's owed. That gives that tenant the ability to go and rent, save their money and rent somewhere else, and the landlord is out. The other thing that I also do is I ask the landlord if they're opposed to a petition to vacate the eviction. So if they don't oppose it, that individual can come back after they have met all of the requirements and eliminate that judgment from their record so that they can rent again. At the end of the day, poverty is not a crime, and people should not be punished for that because they were not born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I was the same kid that wasn't born with it, and I had to pull myself up by the bootstraps, but not everybody's always capable of doing that. So these are the things that I try to take with me to the bench, my personal situations, and at the end of the day, to be fair. It's just that simple. Be patient and be fair. So these are two of the qualities that I believe that brings me or gives me a great position to be a municipal court judge. Because again, we have small claims court. Mm-hmm. How many clients? I wouldn't say clients. I'm still thinking as an attorney. How many folks? When I'm on the bench, how many folks are going to come to me with a small claims matter where it's under 12,000, under 12,500 with an attorney? They're going to be there trying to figure it out, and at that point, let's try to figure out a settlement. I try to push the mediation. We don't always have to fight. I mean, we're trained litigators, but we don't always have to fight. Sometimes there's a happy medium. So I could keep going, but I think I'm running out of time.
No, you're fine. I think what you've done, because one of my questions was going to be, when you really talk about fair and balance, what does that look like for you? But I think you've done an amazing job in really communicating not just the fair part, but also the balance part of considering all sides and how do we, there's always a middle ground and we can get there. In addition to the fair and balance, I know we have to wrap up soon, but in addition to that, are there other, I don't want to say issues, but other areas of concern that you feel may be present in the courtroom that you feel as a person that might potentially be in that role, you can help fix or eradicate, or any issues that would make it more of a fair and balanced courtroom that really represents and works for the everyday resident?
Absolutely. So, obviously, when I wake up, when I look at myself on the Zoom, when I look at myself in the mirror, obviously I want to be a little slimmer, but that doesn't happen every day. But at the end of the day, on a serious note, folks, I'm an African-American man. I was with an accent from a foreign country. And every time I get pulled over by the police, I have the same concerns that any other African-American man would have when they get pulled over. These are things that I'm going to bring with me to the bench, because sometimes people make mistakes. Sometimes people are having a bad day. Sometimes the police make mistakes. Sometimes the defendant makes a mistake. You have to just look. It's like an onion, and you peel away and you peel away and you peel away to find the truth. So I'm not going to judge anybody based on their race, because I'm from a marginalized community and I've experienced that. I'm not going to look at anybody for their sexuality. That's none of my business. I'm not going to look at somebody for their level of economics or their level of education. Some people did not have a choice. My grandfather didn't have a choice when he had to leave school to go take care of whatever family issues that he had to take care of. So his educational skills, God rest his soul, is not at the level that I would have preferred it to be, or he would have preferred it to be, but that should not be a reason to punish people. So at the end of the day, you look at people for who they are, based on their character, based on what they present to you, and not judge them for who they are or how they dress or how they act or however they think. As a judge, you have to be fair. That's just the bottom line. You have to be fair. And if you're not fair and consider humans as they are, you shouldn't be a judge. And that's why I believe that, as I said earlier, I don't want to sit on the sidelines, complaining to my colleagues about certain situations. I want to make a difference. And I'm going to make that difference when I get on that bench. And I will be fair. I will be just to all sides. And that's the basic principle that a judge should have. And if you can't make a decision on the case, withdraw. If your own biases are going to prevent you from making a fair and accurate decision for the people in front of you, either withdraw from the case or let them try to work something out where both parties are somewhat happy and somewhat unhappy at the same time. It's just trying to be fair, and the society is changing. And instead of being a part of the problem, be a part of the solution. That's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you so much, Michael. Closing words, I want to just remind everyone that we have an election. We have a primary on May 18th. And as you know, local elections matter, but sometimes we have an issue on a local level of like just driving people out and making sure that people show up, whether it's voting by mail or showing up at their polling location. So for you, I would love for your parting words to be, why do judges matter? Number one. And then number two, specifically, why do our municipal judges matter? Why do people need to show up and make sure their voices are heard and their votes count in this election?
Well, first, judges matter because at the end of the day, you never know when you're going to be in front of a judge. You never know when your children or your family or your parents or whoever or friends will be in front of a judge. And you want that judge to be fair. You want that judge to have a background that makes them understand that human beings are just human beings. You don't want them to be in a position where they're looking at each individual differently because of their economic status or things of that nature. I've been from the poorest to someone who's a professional, and you want somebody in that position to be able to make a decision for that person in front of them. Now, if it's municipal court, which is the court that I call the people's court, because at the end of the day, these are the same judges that are doing preliminary hearings. So if it's a criminal matter, we're the judges that are the gatekeepers to determine whether that charge goes higher to the court of common pleas or whether it should be dismissed for lack of evidence. So that's critical at that stage. Also, people should have a basic right to housing, but also the landlord should have a basic right to have his place to be kept in a proper position in terms of. So if it's a landlord-tenant matter, that's important to the tenant as well as to the landlord. So municipal court is good for that, and even small claims. I remember I had a client. This young lady's from Haiti, but she's been here most of her life. She's an American citizen. She has 4 boys, and she hired another Haitian, 3 Haitian men to work on her property. But they did a horrible job. And guess where that was, folks? In municipal court. So the judge that was there was very patient. I will not mention her name, but I'm very impressed with how she handled her court. And she allowed my client to speak, even though she was crying. And she looked at the entire case and made a decision, which allowed this lady to, one, fix her house, get the money, the $7,000 that she paid back. Actually, it was suing for 12, but we got 7. And she took the money, fixed her house. She's very happy, very comfortable. And in fact, the opposing side try to come to me and have me represent them now. So, but at the end of the day, it's just treating people fairly. You want judges to treat people fairly. And the importance of judges, just like a police officer. Police officers are important, and not all, and some of them, you don't know how important they are until you need them. So God forbid something happens, the first person you're calling is the police to come and help you. We're not happy when they give us tickets. We're not happy when a few bad apples do things that are not appropriate. But at the end of the day, sometimes we need them. So, and I'm not going to go into that whole avenue. I'm just using that as an example.
Sure.
You don't know when a judge is important until you're before a judge. You didn't expect that to happen, or you didn't expect your family member to be in that position. And once they're there, you hope and pray that judge is not going to be biased against you for any reason. And you hope that judge is fair to both sides, whether you win or lose. So I could keep going on and on, but I feel like I'm running out of time. My palms are starting to sweat a little bit.
No, this was great, 100%. And I'll just say that a lot of the issues that you've shared over the last 20 minutes, and then also just ended with, are things that were further amplified over the last year in the middle of COVID, whether it was landlord-tenant issues, whether things related to criminal justice and social justice, all those things were further amplified. And I think put in front of people a lot more, so that, and they couldn't escape it. So just understanding that the position that you could potentially be in helps really, you know, determine how some things go. So thank you so much for your time today, Michael. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that tuned in, that watched. Thank you to the voters. Make sure you're registered for the primary that is on May 18th. And to learn more about candidates like Michael Lambert and others, visit ballot.70.org, where you can learn about candidates, complete your ballot, all that great stuff. And then again, do not forget that the primary is May 18th. We are less than 4 weeks away. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Oh, you have one more thing?
One more thing. I'm actually first on the ballot. I'm number 25. So, you know, God has blessed me with my mother and church sisters, and my sister actually praying that I got number 1 on the ballot, and it actually worked out, and I'm in the number 1 position. So I'm number 25, and I'm also endorsed by the Democratic City Committee, and obviously, and I'm endorsed by quite a few unions, AFL-CIO, working families. I could keep going down the list, but just wanted to let you know a little bit more about that before I forget.
Absolutely. And is there anywhere where folks can follow you to get more information as well?
Yes, I do have a website, and I apologize.
No, you're fine. What we can also do is drop it in the comment section under the video so that folks can always see it. So we'll drop it there for sure.
And my campaign manager just busted through my door, and usually she's sitting beside me, kicking my leg. I have a couple of bruises just from that experience. Half my age, but treats me like my mother when I was 5 years old. So
she's a great campaign manager.
Yeah, she might kick me a little extra now because of that, Ms. Smith. Thank you.
Not a problem. What is it?
It's Friends of Michael C. Lambert.com.
Awesome.
Friends with an S of Michael C for Christopher Lambert.com.
Awesome. And that's where folks can learn more about you and get ready for the primary. Thank you to everyone. Thank you again, Michael. Enjoy your day.
Thank you so much. God bless everybody. Have a great day.